freaking monkey! Just the fact that it's wearing clothes, it has a party hat, and it's blood all over his mouth and arms. Like, you're really not freaked out? Hey everybody, welcome back. It's your girl, Zing. Today is not a reaction, it's more of a review. Basically, mostly going through a scene from a movie that I was able to find like a whole scene of it. So, and probably since you know the name, you probably know what scene this is going to be, or maybe by the thumbnail or the title of this video. Some of you, if you follow me on Instagram, I did it a month ago when I saw Nope for the first time with some friends, and I explained how terrified I was and how this certain scene that has to do with Gordy, who is a chimp, how this scene was so disturbing and how this completely traumatized me. So this is kind of like a scene that might be a little bit disturbing for you guys. So I want to go through this scene with you because, you know, even though it's a very disturbing scene, it has a very interesting, part of the movie, because a lot of people wonder what was the point of this chimpanzee? What was the point of this scene in the movie? What does this have to do with a sci-fi? So I did some research, and it's pretty fascinating when you watch it and you do research of what was Jordan Peele's point. It's kind of fascinating. So this is basically going through this scene that I want to share to you guys and kind of explain to you why this is so disturbing for me. So yeah, so let's get started on it. Oh my god. I'm telling you, this scene is so disturbing. And when I saw it for the second time, I was terrified. I was like, oh no, I don't want to relive this moment.
Somehow you'd think that a man who can send a rocket into space would be able to manage a half-a birthday present. No. Hey, Gordy. Hi. Wow. That is a gift.
God. My friends and I were like, oh shit. This is gonna be bad. This is not gonna be good. I literally was like, this. God, I can't imagine how the child actors had to go through this scene. It had to have been so scary. Even though it's not a real chimpanzee, of course, but still. And here's the popping, and oh my god. I'm telling you guys. See, I thought it was cool that they just do a walkthrough of the whole set and you hear that pounding. You just know this is brutal. Oh my god, I was so terrified. I was freaking out because I had no idea what was out there. I'm like, oh my god. And then, if you know, in the corner, you kind of can see Gordy. See that? And you hear the woman suffering. Oh, God. And then, do you hear that banging? Did you see that? Oh. I was so fucking scared. Seriously. And the fact that it's in a family-friendly looking environment and you see a monkey like that? And I was so terrified. I was like, oh my god, I can't take this. No, Gordy, no. I was just like this kid. I was exactly like that when I saw this movie for the first time. I literally was shaking. I put my arms around my legs and I was like this. So this part with the standing shoe is very important. It's very fascinating what was the symbol of the standing shoe. Look at the freaking monkey! Just the fact that it's wearing clothes, it has a party hat, and it's blood all over his mouth and arms. Like, you're really not freaked out? And the fact that he's, like, tapping on the shoe to see if that woman's alive? Oh, this part, I was freaked out. He fucking stares at the kid! I was so freaking terrified! And the part when he's walking to the kid, I was like shaking for my life. Because I was like, no, 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 no. And you see how the tablecloth is covering the eyes? Because it's not actual eye contact. So that's why the chimpanzee didn't attack. Oh my god. God. I like this shot with just the hand. And I remember this shot from the trailer and I was like, oh my god, that's the scene. The fist bump. And just that shot. And... fuck. Okay, so you finally saw the scene of Gordy the Chimp. So, I just want to briefly explain the importance of this scene, the symbolism of the scene, and some objects that were shown. Kind of explain if you have seen the movie Nope and you don't really understand what was the point with Gordy, I'll explain it to you. So number one, I read an article on Google about what was, the purpose or the symbolism of Gordy. What does Gordy represent for this movie? And Jordan Peele explains how that was supposed to be an example of a bad miracle, because that was like the line of this movie. What's a bad miracle? It said how he actually believes in that stuff, that if something bad happens to you or you were involved with something bad that was going on, with the little boy that was involved with something bad about, the chimpanzee attack, and then at the end, in return, you get a reward or something good happens to you. So that's what the point was for that scene, was that it was supposed to be a resemble of a bad miracle, and also kind of like the development of Jupe, when he was a little boy, how he looked at, with the chimpanzee, and kind of getting to know his side of the story of what did he see throughout that whole incident. He was a survivor of the chimpanzee attack, and then in return he got rich. He became a famous child actor. He had his own show called Kid Sheriff, and he had his own theme park attraction, and he was really big around the town that it takes place. So, and he made a lot of money. So that was kind of the situation for Jordan Peele, for wanting us audience to understand, that's kind of the thing of why Jupiter's character is like that. And also the fact of why he was associating with the alien, because he knew he can make money. So he's like, oh, I got money, I became rich after the Gordy attack. It was so popular, and I do remember that he mentioned how Saturday Night Live did a skit of it, and how the entertainment industry was doing skits or movie scenes involved with Gordy, just related to that incident, that it became very popular. So that's what got him oh, I can make money with the alien. So that's the part when at the Star Lasso experience, when there was a crowd and he was wanting to show them something that can change their lives forever, and bringing the alien. So that's how he got associated with the alien, and how he knew about this alien for the past 6 months. I recently mentioned about a standing shoe. So the part with the kid that looks at the shoe that's standing up, a lot of people, including me, were like, what was that? What did that symbolize? What was the point of that? Jordan Peele explains how he found some research from doctors or psychiatrists or people that work with people of traumatization, that when someone deals with something very traumatic, they try to focus on an object to get away from the thing that's traumatizing them or the thing that's threatening them. So they said that's what the kid did, that he was trying to focus on something to get away, trying to not look at the threat, which was Gordy. So he was looking at the shoe. Sometimes the person that's dealing with the traumatization, they vision or they want to see what they want to see with the object that they're looking at. So they said that's what the kid did, that he looked at the shoe and in his mind he saw it standing up. But they said in reality it wasn't, but in his mind that's what he was seeing. So they were saying like how that was kind of like a little like reference of what that's the thing when people deal with traumatization, they go through something like that. Some people are like, but why did the chimpanzee not attack when he saw the kid? Because another interesting fact, which I pretty much know, when it comes to dealing with wild animals, you never give them eye contact. That's like the number one rule when it comes to dealing with animals, wild animals, or animals in entertainment industry, or even at zoos, that the key is to never look them in the eye because they take that as a threat. I even said it, that the tablecloth was covering his eyes. So that's why he didn't attack, because he didn't really make eye contact to the kid. So that was one thing. The number one thing that, and it was so ironic because I was thinking the exact same thing when I saw this scene for the first time. Two things. One, Jordan Peele said that he had a bad dream about a monkey attacking him. So that was the first thing that like got him this idea. But second, it's supposed to be connected to a true story that happened back in 2009. If any of you ever heard of the classic story of Travis the Chimp, Charla, Nash, the famous story about the woman that got attacked by a chimpanzee and her whole face got, eaten up, and, it was a very big story around 2009, and I remember, seeing her on Oprah, which, that's another thing, the Oprah shot, because they were like, The Impossible was on the Oprah, and not only she was in Oprah, but she revealed her face. She revealed what the damage of her face was like. So that was like another thing when Jordan Peele was like, oh, the Oprah shot, that's the Oprah shot. But anyway, the thing that I find ironic about it is that was the first thing I thought about when I saw that scene. I was automatically thinking about that woman that got attacked by the chimpanzee. If any of you don't know about that story, so back in 2009, this woman, her best friend had a pet chimpanzee that she had for 20 years. This woman took care of this chimpanzee for 20 years. So she knows this chimpanzee pretty well. And if I can remember, one day her best friend called her and said, hey, Travis, that's the name of the chimp, got out of his cage. Can you go and get him back on the cage? So Charla Nash, which is the name of the woman, drove to her friend's house, tried to find Travis. I believe she used a toy, and I believe they said it was an Elmo doll that was supposed to be one of his favorite dolls. She pushed a button and it made a sound, and that's how the attack started, was when she clicked that button and it made a noise. Travis snapped, destroyed that woman's face, like eat her face, bit her fingers off. It was a brutal like attack. And yeah, and I think like a year later she was on Oprah. She revealed her face to live television to show the world what her face looks like, and it was, oh my god, it's so disturbing, and it's so sad to know what this woman went through. The thing that I was like finding it so disturbing about it, and the reason why it was so traumatizing for me for the first time, it wasn't the fact about like, the chimpanzee with the blood and all that. It wasn't just that. I felt like it was giving us a vision of what the attack back in 2009 looked like. That was the thing that was getting to me, was that when I saw Gordy, pounding that woman's face and eating the woman, it was kind of bringing me back of like, okay, I bet this is what the attack looked like back in 2009. I bet that's what that woman was going through. But despite of all like the settings and all of that, but still like just the violence and the attack, the violence coming from the chimpanzee, that was showing us how terrifying it was. So that was the thing that really got to me, was just kind of giving me a vision of what the attack looked like. There's never, as far as I know, I might be wrong, I don't know, but there's never been a movie about a chimpanzee attacking somebody like that. You never, I don't know. If you know any movie that has that certain scene, put a comment on it, please. But it's just like, we never seen a scene like that ever in a horror movie and in a sci-fi movie. That's the thing about this scene, was that, you know, it's very disturbing, but it's a very interesting, you know, fascinating way how Jordan Peele explained that scene and explained the purpose of the chimpanzee, the standing shoe. Why was that scene so important for this movie? And you know, it's crazy how I even looked up some theories, and people think that Gordy is the alien. He's the cloud. Like, oh yeah, his spirit is in the cloud, or Gordy is the alien, but somehow there's some sort of transfer from a chimpanzee to a cloud. It's like, how did you get that theory? Like, where did that came from? Even though, despite that scene is very disturbing, the whole movie in general is really, really good. It's different, and it has a very unique plot twist, I would say, because it's very crazy of how this was all put together. And you know how there's some scenes that have some sort of like connection with other horror films, and you know, the chimpanzee is just, and that's the thing about it, when you start the movie, there's a sneak peek of it, like the first 5 seconds, you see the chimpanzee walking by with blood all over himself, and then you're like, oh god, what the hell am I watching? This is a great movie. Despite of that scene, I at the end really liked this movie. I thought it was terrifying. I thought it was like a whole new fresh sci-fi movie. It wasn't going to be like the typical of like, oh, it's an alien, what are we going to do, and then aliens come and invade. And it was nothing like that. I encourage people to watch it, even though if this scene that you just watched was creepy, you can skip it, I don't know, but just watch the movie and you'll understand it, and it'll be kind of fascinating of how scary this movie is and how it really connects with sci-fi and all of that stuff. But yeah, that's all for today's review of the Gordy scene from the movie Nope. Leave comments of what you thought about my review, your thoughts about the scene, and maybe your thoughts about the movie in general. But yeah, so like my video, subscribe my channel, leave comments below what you thought about it. And, you know, catch on to the next reaction video, and I'll see you later, guys.